We're going to dive deep into 7 habits that completely transformed my life in just 1 week. Yes, you heard that right, 1 week. I know it sounds almost too good to be true, but I promise you, these aren't just your run-of-the-mill tips that you hear everywhere. These are real, raw, and honest habits that I personally integrated into my daily routine. I went through the struggles, the breakthroughs, and the triumphs, and the transformation I experienced was nothing short of amazing. I can't wait to share these with you because they have had such a profound impact on my life, and I believe they can do the same for you. Whether you're looking to boost your productivity, improve your mental health, or just make a positive change in your everyday life, these habits can help you get there. So grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive right in. Trust me, you'll want to stick around until the end, because these habits aren't just theoretical. They are practical, actionable steps that you can start implementing today. Plus, I'll be sharing some personal stories and insights from my own journey, giving you a raw and honest look at how these habits worked for me. Habit 1, waking up early. The first habit that changed my life was waking up early. Now let me be completely honest with you. I was never a morning person. My bed was my best friend, and I used to hit the snooze button more times than I can count. Mornings were a chaotic rush, and I often felt like I was starting my day on the wrong foot. But I decided to give waking up early a shot, and let me tell you, it was a game changer. I started by setting my alarm for 5 a.m. The first few days were brutal. I remember dragging myself out of bed, feeling groggy, and wondering if this was really worth it. But I pushed through, and by the 3rd day, something incredible started to happen. I began to appreciate the quiet and stillness of the early morning hours. There was something almost magical about being up before the rest of the world, when everything was calm and peaceful. With these extra hours in the morning, I found time for things I never seemed to have time for before. I started my day with a bit of light exercise. Nothing too intense, just some stretching or a short jog around the neighborhood. This not only woke me up, but also energized me for the rest of the day. I also spent some time meditating and setting my intentions for the day. These few moments of mindfulness made a huge difference in my overall mindset and productivity. Another surprising benefit of waking up early was that I no longer felt rushed. I had ample time to enjoy a healthy breakfast, sip my coffee slowly, and plan out my day. This unrushed start set a positive tone for the entire day. I was more organized, less stressed, and felt a greater sense of control over my time. One personal experience that stands out was the morning I watched the sunrise from my balcony. It was a simple yet profoundly beautiful moment. As the sky changed colors and the world slowly woke up, I felt a deep sense of gratitude and peace. It was in that moment that I truly understood the power of waking up early. Now, waking up early might not be for everyone, but I encourage you to give it a try, even if it's just for a week. Start with just 15 minutes earlier than your usual wake-up time and gradually increase it. You might be surprised at how much of a positive impact it can have on your life. It's not just about having more hours in the day, but about using those hours to create a more mindful, intentional, and fulfilling start to your day. Habit 2. Daily exercise. Speaking of workouts, daily exercise was habit number 2 that truly transformed my life. Now let me be upfront. I wasn't always the most active person. I used to find every excuse in the book to avoid working out. I'm too tired, I don't have time, or I'll start tomorrow. Sound familiar? But one day I decided enough was enough. I made a commitment to move my body every single day for a week, and the results were incredible. I started small, just 20 minutes a day, mixing it up between yoga, jogging, and strength training. I wanted to keep it interesting so I wouldn't get bored and quit halfway through. The first few days were tough. My muscles were sore and I felt exhausted. But I reminded myself why I was doing this, to feel better both physically and mentally. By the 4th day, something amazing happened. I woke up feeling more energized. My mood had improved drastically. I was less irritable and more positive. I realized that those 20 minutes of exercise were not just about burning calories or building muscle. They were about giving myself time to focus on me, to release stress, and to boost my endorphins. One morning, I remember lacing up my sneakers for a jog. It was a crisp, clear day, and as I ran, I felt a sense of freedom and clarity that I hadn't experienced in a long time. It was just me, the open road, and my thoughts. That sense of connection to myself and the world around me was truly empowering. I also started to see physical changes. My posture improved, I felt stronger, and I noticed a difference in my overall fitness. But the biggest change was in my mindset. Exercise became my time to disconnect from the world and reconnect with myself. It became a form of self-care rather than a chore. Another personal highlight was trying yoga for the first time. I was hesitant at first, thinking I wasn't flexible enough or that it wouldn't be a real workout. But after a few sessions, I fell in love with it. Yoga taught me to be present, to breathe deeply, and to listen to my body. It was a transformative experience that went beyond the physical benefits. Incorporating daily exercise into my routine made me realize that taking care of my body directly impacted my mental health and overall happiness. It's not about being perfect or pushing yourself to extremes. It's about finding a form of movement that you enjoy and making it a regular part of your life. So, if you're like I was and struggling to get started, my advice is to start small. Find something you enjoy, whether it's dancing, hiking, or even just a brisk walk. Commit to just a few minutes a day and gradually build up from there. Trust me, the benefits you'll experience will be well worth the effort. It's a habit that has the power to change not just your body, but your entire outlook on life. Habit 3. Journaling. Let's talk about journaling, habit number 3. Now, I'll be honest, when I first heard about journaling, I thought, who actually has time for that? I mean, life is busy enough. Sitting down to write about your thoughts and feelings, it sounded like something only super organized or deeply introspective people did. But let me tell you, just 1 week of journaling completely flipped my perspective. It's now one of my favorite habits and a game changer in how I approach life. Here's how I started. No pressure, no perfection. I grabbed a simple notebook and a pen. No fancy apps, no Pinterest-worthy spreads. Just the basics. Every night before bed, I gave myself 10 minutes. The first night, awkward. I sat there staring at the blank page thinking, what am I even supposed to write? So I kept it simple. How my day went, what made me smile, and what frustrated me. That was it. But something interesting happened as I stuck with it. Each night, my thoughts flowed more naturally. I started diving deeper, writing about my dreams, fears, goals, and even the little insecurities I didn't usually acknowledge. It felt like having a private, no-judgment conversation with myself, and that's when the magic happened. I started to see things more clearly. One night, after a really stressful day at work, I wrote about what went wrong. Putting my emotions on paper helped me break it all down. What exactly triggered my stress? How did it make me feel? What could I do differently next time? By the time I closed my journal, I felt lighter, like I'd left my worries on the page. Journaling also became a powerful way to track progress. I started jotting down small wins, no matter how tiny they seemed. Things like prepared for a presentation and nailed it, or chose a healthy snack instead of chips. Looking back at those little victories gave me so much motivation. It reminded me that I was moving forward, even on days when it didn't feel like it. Another surprising benefit: gratitude. I added a simple gratitude section to my journal. 3 things I was thankful for every day. Some days it was big stuff, like a supportive friend. Other days it was as small as, I had the perfect cup of coffee this morning. This simple practice shifted my mindset. Instead of focusing on what I didn't have, I started seeing the beauty in the little things around me. One entry I'll never forget was about a stranger helping me carry my groceries when I was struggling. Writing about it filled me with so much gratitude and inspired me to pay it forward. These moments, when captured on paper, became tiny reminders of the good in the world and in myself. But the biggest thing journaling gave me, self-discovery. Through my entries, I uncovered patterns in my thoughts and habits, what made me happy, what drained me, and what I really wanted out of life. It became a safe, judgment-free zone where I could be 100% real with myself. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, I wouldn't even know where to start, don't overthink it. Journaling isn't about writing perfectly or having deep, profound thoughts. Just start with whatever's on your mind. Write about your day, a problem you're facing, or even what you had for lunch. It doesn't matter. The beauty is in the process, not the end result. Trust me, giving journaling a try might just surprise you. You'll gain clarity, discover things about yourself, and find a sense of peace you didn't even know you needed. So, grab a notebook, set aside 10 minutes tonight, and let the words flow. Who knows? You might unlock a whole new side of yourself. Habit 4. Mindful eating. Next up, mindful eating. This was a big one for me because, like many people, I used to eat on the go, barely paying attention to what or how much I was consuming. My meals were often rushed and distracted affairs, eaten while scrolling through my phone or working on my laptop. I didn't realize how much this was affecting my overall well-being until I decided to give mindful eating a try for 1 week. Mindful eating is all about paying full attention to the experience of eating and drinking, both inside, savoring each bite, noticing the flavors, textures, and even the sounds of your food, both inside and outside the body. I made a commitment to eat all my meals mindfully. I started by setting the scene for my meals. I cleared my dining table, set a nice place for myself, and removed any distractions. No phone, no TV, no laptop. At first, it felt a bit strange to sit quietly with my meal, but it quickly became a calming ritual. I began each meal with a few deep breaths to center myself and bring my focus to the present moment. One of the first things I noticed was how much more I enjoyed my food. I took the time to really taste and appreciate each bite. Foods I had eaten hundreds of times before suddenly revealed new, delightful flavors and textures that I had never really noticed. For example, the crunch of fresh vegetables and the sweetness of ripe fruit became much more pronounced. It was like experiencing food in high definition. Another major change was how much more satisfied I felt after meals. By eating slowly and mindfully, I gave my body time to signal when it was full. This was a big shift for me, as I used to eat quickly and often ended up overeating. By paying attention to my hunger and fullness cues, I naturally ate less and felt more satisfied. One memorable experience was with a simple bowl of oatmeal. Normally, I would wolf it down without a second thought, but this time I took it slow, savoring the creamy texture and the subtle sweetness of the honey I drizzled on top. It became a moment of gratitude and mindfulness that set a positive tone for the rest of my day. I also started to notice how different foods made me feel. Heavy, processed foods left me feeling sluggish and bloated, while fresh, whole foods made me feel energized and light. This awareness led me to make healthier choices naturally, without feeling deprived or restricted. Another aspect of mindful eating is being aware of the emotional connections we have with food. I began to recognize when I was eating out of boredom, stress, or emotional comfort rather than true hunger. This awareness was powerful. Instead of mindlessly snacking, I could address the underlying emotion. Maybe I needed a break, some relaxation, or a chat with a friend rather than a bag of chips. One evening, I had a craving for something sweet after dinner. Instead of automatically reaching for dessert, I paused and asked myself if I was truly hungry or just seeking a reward after a long day. I realized I wasn't actually hungry and opted for a warm cup of herbal tea instead. It was a small victory that highlighted how powerful mindful eating can be. Incorporating mindful eating into my life was a transformative experience. It helped me develop a healthier relationship with food, improved my digestion, and enhanced my overall sense of well-being. It's a habit I've continued beyond that initial week, and I can't recommend it enough. If you're interested in trying mindful eating, start with just one meal a day. Sit down without distractions, take a few deep breaths, and savor each bite. Pay attention to the flavors, textures, and how the food makes you feel. You might be surprised at how this simple practice can change your entire eating experience. It's a wonderful way to reconnect with your body and truly appreciate the nourishment that food provides. Habit 5. Limiting screen time. Let's talk about limiting screen time. Habit number 5. This was a tough one for me, and I'm guessing many of you can relate. Living in a world that's practically run by screens, it's so easy to lose hours scrolling through social media, binge-watching Netflix, or endlessly checking emails. But here's the thing, all that screen time was silently draining my energy, messing with my productivity, and even robbing me of good sleep. So, I decided to take charge and set some boundaries. The first step, I limited my non-work screen time to just 1 hour a day. That's right, no mindless Instagram scrolling, no YouTube rabbit holes, and no late-night binge sessions. At first, it was ridiculously hard. I'd gotten so used to filling every spare moment with screen time, but I was determined to see what life looked like beyond the glow of my devices. And wow, the first thing I noticed was how much time I actually had. Cutting down on screen time gave me back hours I didn't even know I was losing. And with those extra hours, I rediscovered parts of myself I'd forgotten. I picked up a book I'd been meaning to read, dusted off my sketch pad, and even experimented with new recipes in the kitchen. One evening, instead of sinking into the couch for TV time after dinner, I laced up my shoes and went for a walk in the park. The fresh air, the rustling leaves, the soft chirping of birds, it all felt so refreshing, almost like hitting a reset button for my mind and body. That simple walk soon became one of my favorite parts of the day. It wasn't just a break, it was a moment of peace. Another game changer? My sleep. I used to scroll through my phone in bed thinking it would help me unwind, but instead it left me wired and restless. By ditching screens before bedtime, I discovered a whole new world of deep, restful sleep. I started a new nighttime ritual, reading a physical book, doing a little meditation, or simply reflecting on my day. And let me tell you, the difference in my energy levels was like night and day. But the most surprising change was in my mental health. Without the constant noise of notifications, comparisons on social media, and digital distractions, I felt lighter. I became more present in conversations, more aware of the people and world around me, and far more engaged in my daily life. It felt like clearing away a mental fog, allowing me to see things with fresh clarity. One of my favorite moments during this journey was a quiet afternoon I spent at a local cafe. Armed with just a notebook and a pen, I let my thoughts flow, sketched a little, and planned out some personal goals. It was simple, yet deeply fulfilling. Far more rewarding than any afternoon of screen time could ever be. Of course, there were moments when the temptation crept back in, but every time I reached for my phone out of habit, I reminded myself of how much better I felt without it. Slowly, those urges started to fade, replaced by the joy of actually living my life. Now, let me be clear, limiting screen time isn't about swearing off technology completely. It's about finding balance, being intentional with your time, and making space for the things that truly matter. If you're feeling stressed, disconnected, or just stuck in a cycle of screen addiction, I encourage you to try this for yourself. Start small, reduce your screen time by an hour a day, and use that time to reconnect with yourself, your loved ones, or the world around you. You might just discover that life away from the screen is more vibrant, more fulfilling, and more real than you ever imagined. Wrapping it up. All right, everyone, that wraps up our journey through the 7 habits that dramatically changed my life in just 1 week. It's been an incredible experience, not just implementing these habits, but also sharing them with you. Each of these habits has the power to create significant positive changes in your life, and I truly believe that if they could work for me, they can work for anyone. If you've been inspired by any of these habits, I encourage you to try them out for yourself. Start small, maybe with one habit, and see how it feels. Adjust according to what suits your lifestyle and needs. Remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's progress. It's about making small, manageable changes that accumulate into substantial transformations over time. I'd love to hear about your experiences, so please drop a comment below sharing which habit you're thinking of adopting or any questions you might have about starting. Your feedback and stories are what make this community so amazing and supportive. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you won't miss any of our future content. We have lots more insights and tips coming your way that you won't want to miss. Sharing this video with friends or family who might benefit from these habits could also make a huge difference in their lives. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, small changes lead to big results. Let's keep growing, keep evolving, and turn our everyday routines into powerful moments of self-improvement. See you in the next video. Stay awesome, everyone.